10/17, Tuesday. Right. That's what I thought. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come back here specifically. Please forget my earlier question. Since the greatest in the world exists in everything, being able to experience this is absolute bliss. Yesterday and today, across the land and stars, nature embraces ever more greatness. What a state of harmony and beauty. It sounds very positive if you ignore this location. She can't see the other's eyes, but the shadows beneath them are deep. We do what we were brought up to do, and the world is foolish and cautious. She can't see the other's eyes, so she doesn't know what they're thinking. Even so, somehow she feels there isn't much of a difference between them. Please join me in reciting these words. I don't blame you for seeing red, but there's never any harm in showing respect. It's a big day and the weather is bad. Be especially respectful. Yes, be sure to do that. The girl takes a deep breath and reads the illogical syllable on her hand aloud. There are worse things to worry about than this. I still don't know what that thing means. We've seen that a couple times. Ugh, finally, this side is done. I suddenly felt the need to clean up around here. Not because it was that messy, but because I needed something to calm my mind a little. She said she'd be here soon, but her work schedule is always pretty busy. Unfortunately for me, she's always in high demand. Woman with sunglasses. Still busy doing useless chores. Speak of the devil. I hear her familiar voice from behind me, and I feel her placing a hand on my shoulder. This place isn't really yours, so you don't have to be so thorough. Unlike for some people, it isn't really my style to do things half-heartedly. I look up from the pile of books and get up from amidst a cloud of dust. The air in this place is horrible. You know how unhealthy that is, right? That's why it's even more important that I clean up. It's just going to get worse otherwise. I'm dooming myself by admitting this aloud. It's one of the biggest drawbacks of leading a sloppy life. The visitor just stands there, silent. Then she starts walking around. Meet Scarlet, Chief Legal Consultant at Golden Maxine Law Firm. Her monthly income is higher than most people's annual salary. In private, she's a tough nut to crack. Okay, let's see if we have any thoughts before we talk to Scarlet. I don't think she'll mind the air in this room, that the air in this room is a little cloudy. When it comes to investigations, Scarlet has far better sources and connections than me. Those visions Cecile mentioned really concern me. Now that Scarlet is investigating the damaged road near the viewing platform, I'm sure she'll discover something. If so, maybe I can help Cecile to verify her assumptions. Let's see what Scarlet finds out. Looks like nothing's really changed around here. Scarlet takes a look around the room and seems at a loss for words. As always, she's projecting a strong, stoic aura, looking very competent and professional in her suit. That aside, it's obvious that she's still the same old Scarlet. A telltale sign, the simple fact that she hasn't taken her sunglasses off since she walked in. The bookcases in the back area on the ground floor are lit up by a table lamp, so that you can actually see your hand when you hold it out in front of your eyes. I just hope she never forgets who her old friends are. Even though you haven't dropped by in 2 months, you should see that there's no real room for any big changes. It's too packed in here. Alright, enough of this. What can I do for you? She moves the ashtray aside and sits down. I can feel her looking at me from behind her sunglasses. Although her whole look is somewhat intimidating, Scarlet is quite famous amongst the lawyers in Motto. There's a reason for that. She's well-informed and well-connected. Last month, a mysterious collapse occurred on one of the roads. There are some rumors of a huge explosion floating around, but there is no actual evidence. Unfortunately, it seems the surveillance tapes were damaged. At least, that's the official story. A pretty blatant lie, if you ask me. They'd never admit it, but they need someone they can trust to manage and clean up the mess, away from prying eyes. In the last few years, you've been working with several administrative departments. You know your way around the industry and have become somewhat of a household name, meaning you've got connections. I don't think it's wrong to me to assume that such a delicate matter will end up in your hands, sooner or later. Scarlet blushes. She knows that I'm right. I lower my voice. So, I need first-hand information, and I can't think of anyone else except you. You really do know me quite well. Her voice sounds tired. I silently take the ashtray, put out my cigarette, and wait for her reply. You're completely right. I do have the video. When we talked yesterday, I already guessed that you'd want it. She rummages through her bag and takes out a hard drive. I reach for it. Can't get my hands on it. No need to hurry. It's not that I don't trust you. You know I do. But you're gonna have to give me a good reason as to why you want it. You know there's a cover-up. Something they're trying to hide. I need to find out what that is. I need to find out the truth. That's all. I'm being honest with you. So, there's trouble brewing again. I'm like a magnet for all things strange. There's nothing I can do about that. It's all a little much. First, you're responsible for the fate of the world. Then you suddenly disappear. Outright vanish. Give it a couple more years and you'll be friends with the Loch Ness Monster, hidden away in isolation somehow. I decide to ignore her quirky remark for now. Anyway, that's just one thing. You're talking about the little girl? I think the fact that she came to a bookstore instead of seeing a doctor showed that this is just a child's fantasy gone awry. Oh, come on. Would you really describe her condition as normal? And don't tell me that hearing about her experiences left you cold. The way you're willing to look for evidence so stubbornly shows me that you've already chosen to believe her. Am I right? Ever since I saw those things last year, calling myself a normal run-of-the-mill folklore researcher feels like somewhat of an understatement. There's plenty of strange things out there. It's a mysterious world we live in. I'd rather go out and make a fool of myself than ignore something and make a big mistake. Scarlet bows her head, deep in thought, unconsciously fiddling around with her collar. Well, at first, I thought, Oh no, it's nothing. I thought of something, but it's got nothing to do with the girl. She looks up and puts the hard drive in her bag again. What's this about? You're not just going to change your mind, are you? Come on, who do you take me for? Let's go upstairs. But you're welcome to try and use your superpowers. To use... I got confused trying to figure out what she was trying to say. But you're welcome to try and use your superpowers to see what's on this drive without a computer. Scarlet takes the key out of my hand and opens the door to the second floor. The fact that she knows her way around is no surprise. After all, she's one of the people who helped me move. Though, Helped is a relative term in this case. Is it just me, or does this place seem a lot emptier than the last time I was here? Well, it's hard to explain to someone who's baffled by the notion of cleaning up. The computer doesn't have a password. Scarlet sits down at the desk and starts up the computer. At least the software is up to date, so there shouldn't be any problem with the drive. What exactly do you want to take a look at? Well, obviously the moment before and after the collapse. No, I meant as in where. There's more than one camera. I raised my eyebrows. Oh? I guess people working on the surveillance equipment took a break all at the same time when it happened. Start where the two northern roads intersect along the Riverside Highway to the south, all the way to the monitoring points on the edge of the viewing platform. More than a dozen surveillance camera feeds pop up on the screen one by one. Okay, now just help me align the videos in real time, leading up to the moment of the collapse. Easier said than done. You think it's all just one simple click like in the movies? Scarlet calmly sits in front of the keyboard and drags the videos into the correct order one by one, all sorted by timecode. The old computer, which could easily be considered a relic by now, is starting to run really hot with the fans warning in overdrive. So, judging from this, the rumors have it been being an explosion are true. You'll find out soon enough. Scarlet presses play, and a part of the screen suddenly turns white. Turns out things aren't quite so simple and can't be explained by the rumors floating around. What appears on the screen looks more like a lightning bolt crashing down than a fireball. I start looking for additional information in the other videos. The people look so scared. Even if you're the most courageous person on Earth, it's normal to make a run for it in a situation like that. Nobody even thinks about turning back to look for the others. They're frantically running around like a bunch of panicked rabbits. Woo! Pay attention to those people there. They're heading south, towards the big crowd. I can see several shadows almost being swallowed up by the debris. Two people trip and fall running away, but the others make it. In the final surveillance scene, multiple men in police uniforms can be seen, keeping the people away from the crowd. They're carrying something in their mouths. It looks like whistles. Stop. This is it. Timecode comes to a standstill at last. 15:58:18. Viewing platform incident. Yeah, this has got to be it. Turn off the computer to start the annoying noise of the fan. Nice to hear you found something. Mind sharing it with the class? It's just a guess, a suspicion. Let me get your thoughts on it. Scarlet nods eagerly and without hesitation. During the most difficult times, our approach has always been the same, and it always works. I take out my notebook to check the information I've gathered so far. Cecile wanted to make sure she wasn't seeing any real events in her dreams. Cecile wanted to make sure, however, she would never be able to find concrete evidence on her own. Nevertheless, there was a certain detail in the dream Cecile described to me that she shouldn't have known in advance. I'm sure of that. The information Scarlet gave to me confirmed that it happened in reality. By following this logic, it isn't difficult to draw some conclusions about the illusion. Press X to fill in the suppositions using the selected information on the right. Press O to withdraw. Press X and hold to submit all three filled suppositions. The right information can solve the problem. Let's give it a try. Okay. Along with the risings and properties. many people... Okay, this is first. The chime of the clock tower near Mata Beach plays the Rising Sun tune. This tune was changed several times until the 1990s. Then, a bizarre road collapse occurred at the intersection highway in Mato. Security footage shows that there's an actual explosion. More than a dozen witnesses fled in panic. And then the illusion of nothing to do. Maybe? Suspicion approved. Her visions reflect the past. Cecile had a very similar vision. Trophy earned. The story begins. That was cool. I liked that menu. The panicked people running, the viewing platform, the whistles. She said sunrise was playing somewhere. That's an opportunity to verify the truth. Scarlet has given the situation some thought as well. The nearby clock tower should be right on time to play sunrise. Even if she found out about that some other way, the commotion was officially due to common road damage. That's the statement given by the authorities. A student walking around downtown on a Thursday afternoon. If she were there when it happened, her absence in school would have been noted down somewhere in the school's records. You won't seriously make me get the class attendance records, will you? Will I? But seriously, even if she was lying, I don't think anyone would ever go to such lengths. The road damage was reported, and the panicked crowd wasn't. Those are two separate incidents. The latter was not reported anywhere, yet she still connected the two and knew the details just because of her dream. There are only two possibilities why Cecile made that connection. She's aware of the two events, and somehow even the unreported one, and is actively concocting a dream that is realistic. Or, she really just happened to know exactly what was going on because of the dream. And even if gossip is being spread about the incident, there's always some time after it happens, before it ends up going on the news. It took the people who ran away about 2 minutes to get to the viewing platform, and they were quickly stopped by security guards. It's not a busy street. There's not a lot of commuting going on there during that window of time, so it didn't even attract that much attention. Nobody's really talking about it, even the few people that were there. It's hard to find anything more than small snippets of what happened there. Cecile couldn't have known about it from any of the news channels. Only someone who was present could make up such a lie, and there's no way for her to have been there. Process of elimination. Now you know what I mean. We could both use some fresh air. I step outside to have a break. You can smoke inside, but as you know, it's unhealthy. You quit smoking half a year ago. I'm just trying to be a gentleman in here. Scarlet chuckles and sits there with a smirk on her face. I can't even imagine how Dan and Neko... What? Is there a person named Neko in this game? Okay. Would have reacted if they heard you say that. Just trying to show that I'm a multifaceted man. I scratch my head. Scarlet seems uncomfortable on the sofa. She walks towards the window, stretches a bit, and slowly makes her way towards the door. Actually... Yeah. By the way, Scarlet, your help means a lot to me. I wish I could repay you somehow. Good God, you're really hell-bent on this, aren't you? She lets out a defeated sigh. This road that collapsed, or rather, exploded. There are many people on the investigation team. I'm not in charge of it. But I always had a feeling that something was off. I don't know why. I see what she means. The evidence on the surveillance material basically break the laws of physics. There's only one thing. The only thing left was a deep hole. It makes no sense. No victims, no rubble, no burned debris. Seeing all these people running makes it easy to assume there'd be solid evidence, but there's no proof that anything happened. Scarlet could easily pretend to not have noticed anything, keep looking the other way, continuing to collect money from several government agencies, intent on keeping a lid on things. But I know her too well. Turning a blind eye isn't her style. That's why she's my friend. When it comes to attracting trouble, we're probably even on the scale. I'm like you in that regard. I'd rather do anything I can to uncover the truth than look away. That'd be a mistake, and I'd regret it for the rest of my life. Scarlet stares at me with a serious look on her face. There's no doubt in her eyes. Okay. So, what do you want me to do? Intelligence analysis isn't my strong suit, so if there are any new clues later, I'll have to piece them together. No problem. That was my plan anyway. Alright then, we'll have to sort through this whole mess somehow. There's no way we can just drop this now. Cecile deserves an answer. Be patient like the Buddha is something I was often told. That's not exactly me, is it? Well, we just have to wait for my face to become a little chubbier, and I'll take on the rule of the Buddha then. Deal? She smiles, but it's a bitter smile. She knows how much is at stake here. I know you're just trying to calm the atmosphere. I'm sorry, I just don't know how to respond to this right now. It's all a bit much to take in. You're right. I'll make sure Cecile explains everything in more detail soon. She probably left some things out for fear of not being taken seriously. Now she doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Cecile didn't go into much detail about the origin of the dream. We don't have time to keep things hidden any longer. Lies can be made up out of thin air. But this is connected to something real, something tangible. Even if it really was just a regular accident, I need to know. I need clarity. So, Phoenix High School is the name of the place, right? There are rumors floating around about some really bad things going on among the students. A really twisted sense of community. I like to get to the bottom of it. That little girl named Cecile is being bullied? Yeah. The others in her art club are completely out of line. So far it seems as if it's only bad words and some malicious pranks, but that's already bad enough. Who knows with these kids? Scarlet frowns. My words must have caused her concern. That's terrible. Are all kids these days so cruel? Bad behavior can have a number of reasons. Some of these kids probably can't just help it. I bet some of them just do it to fit in with the group because they're afraid of becoming targets themselves. I understand that. So, let's do some digging, shall we? If possible, I'd really appreciate it if you didn't get us into any legal trouble. Oh, come on, I'm a professional and you know it. Scarlet picks up her leather bag and steps out the door. The sun shines down on her, and she carefully readjusts her sunglasses, like a model looking for the perfect shot. I guess nothing's really changed. I'm glad you're helping me with this. It feels good. Like a reunion of sorts. Take care of yourself. You too. Think about yourself every once in a while. Don't let the hard work get to you. Scarlet waves her hand as she walks away, not even turning her head. With Scarlet's help on this case, we should have new results soon. I get a little bit of fresh air, then I head back into the store.